right, and welcome back to another episode of the Perspective Podcast. And this is a finals edition of the Perspective Podcast, the NBA Finals, that is, of course. T, what's good, bro? How you doing?
Good, man. Just enjoying this weekend we just had with the fam, big chilling. How about you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We didn't really get a chance to do much out here. It was like rained and everything, but it is what it is. So it just cool to like today. I actually barbecued today, so I guess I made up for it. All right.
Sorry.
So yeah, man. Look, we finally got here to the NBA Finals. This is not. I don't think these are the two teams that we were actually like expected to be here, but these are the two teams that are here. We have the Milwaukee Bucks representing the East and the Phoenix Suns representing the West. Now, I did say that the Suns were my sleeper team back in December. However, I did not expect the Suns to get this far and like to get here. Like I didn't see that happening, but here we are. So
You're not alone.
Yeah, right.
You're not alone.
Right. So I guess we'll start with the Western Conference first. With the Suns knocking off the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. They ended up beating the Clippers in 6 games without Kawhi Leonard. So just what are some of your thoughts there on that series there from the West?
Congratulations to the Suns, but my honest opinion, I think if Kawhi played it, it's easily the Clippers would have won it, because I believe one of them games, the Clippers, it was that one game I remember it was like 70-71 for like the longest time. Nobody could score. Yeah. I think that was game 3. Game 3. Where the Suns end up winning and going up 2-1. That was the DeAndre Jordan dunk. Not DeAndre Jordan, the Ayton dunk.
Well, that was game 2. That was game 2.
That was game 2?
The Valley Oop. Yeah.
Okay, probably because I watched it in that same exact place. It felt like the same day. So yeah, that game 3 when they couldn't score, I was like, bro, if they had Kawhi right there, they would have easily won that game, and it would have been 2-1 for the
Clippers.
The Clippers. And then I think game 4 was a close game too. And the Clippers ended up blowing that one at the end. They couldn't pull that one out. But I'm like, if Kawhi was there, I feel like they would have won. I won, but both of them games. So that would have been a 3-1. But instead, they was down because they was undermanned, especially when your best player gone.
Yeah.
So but the Clippers just couldn't execute good enough to beat the Suns, because the Suns was giving them opportunities. They was missing. Yeah. They missed a lot of shots. Booker he wasn't real efficient that series, so he was missing a lot of shots he made the previous series, and they just couldn't get enough offense at the right time to offset that Kawhi being on, and then Paul George had to play shooting pretty much the whole game every single time, so he just they wearing him out, and it was that, but also it was a coaching mistake in my opinion with Ty Lue. That game where they couldn't score, you ain't got Rondo, you don't have you don't have Kawhi, but you don't play Rondo and you don't play Cousins. I'm like, it was like 6-7 straight possessions now. Y'all shot a 3 or y'all shot a bad long jump shot. I'm like, bro, if he would have just put Rondo, if Rondo played 15 minutes in that game, they win that game 3. If Cousins played 5-6 minutes and you just post them up, let them try to get some. That's what they problem. They couldn't get no easy buckets against the Suns. So that's where they ended up falling short. They just couldn't get no easy baskets. But that's because Ty Lue, he messed up the rotation. He messed up by not playing people that was gonna penetrate and get in the lane. Like, I'm like, Rondo gonna get in the lane. I don't know why. Right. I don't know why you mad at him right now. I don't know why he got all these DNPs, but he gonna get in that lane. You can post Boogie for a couple plays. Just try to get some easy points to get to the free throw line, but they ain't do it. And I think that's what that cost him in the end. But the Suns just they took advantage. And then you saw the last game, Chris Paul just said, I'm not losing. Like, I'm not going out. like y'all gonna have to take it from me, but they couldn't because he just caught fire that fourth quarter, and then that was a wrap for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it was a lot of good stuff though. Reggie Jackson played good. I like Reggie
Definitely.
Jackson played good. I shout
He
out to him
secured the
because
bag.
right, bro. I didn't know he was getting paid league. He made the league minimum this year. He was on the league minimum contract.
That's terrible.
Right. So now they got a decision to make with him and Patrick Beverly, with him and Beverly and Rondo.
Yep.
I honestly don't think Beverly getting paid on the books for 14 million next year. I think they trying to get rid of him somehow.
Yeah.
But
Yep. I agree.
yeah, I'm glad that Chris Paul is finally about to get his opportunity to compete for a championship.
Agreed. Yeah, but so just kind of like recapping that series there. Of course, they did not play without Kawhi Leonard there in that entire series, and that definitely just swung the balance of power there. The Suns definitely had the best two players on the floor, maybe even the best three, depending on how you look at it. Best three players on the floor all at one time, with Chris, Book, Ayton. But Aiden's play did kind of fall off in this round against Zubac of all people. But his play did kind of fall off a little bit. However, the Suns ended up pulling it out. Game 2, the Valley Oop. That was crazy. I really just like recent memory. I just can't think of any game that's ended like that. Really in that last minute 30 with all those reviews, with like
my goodness,
those like all those reviews there in the last like minute 30, minute 45 of game 2, that led to the alley-oop finish by DeAndre Ayton. Booker getting his nose broke, Patrick Bev being Pat Bev, like undercutting Chris Paul, breaking Book's nose, pushing Chris Paul on the back.
I give him a break on that undercut. He was just getting over. He was just trying to get over the screen, and they call that a flagrant foul. I'm like, they big, they just got. I don't know. They just too soft now.
Yeah, the league is definitely like gotten a bit too soft. Everything gets reviewed. Like everything is a flagrant. I'm not that big on Chris Paul, the acting that he's doing. Like I love Chris Paul, I really do, but he's too good of a player to be doing like selling all these calls and trying to pick up these flagrants and these texts and like all this. Like you taking the State Farm thing a little too far. Like, you know what I mean? Like let's just keep it G on the floor. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So and I do want to give Paul George credit. He did have an up and down series. He's played I went back and I looked at those numbers there. The least amount of minutes that he played in the last 2 series, being Phoenix and Utah, the minimum amount of minutes he played was 38 minutes. Like you said, he spent the entire game on the floor, especially without Kawhi. Reggie Jackson was their second best player. You got to give it to him. You know what I'm saying? He might have had some terrible shooting nights, but he did what he could do. You know what I'm saying? So salute the Phoenix Suns. One thing before we do get off the Suns, I want to give James Jones, the GM, his flowers, because on the last show that we got a chance to do, whenever we were shouting out all the black coaches, I forgot to mention James Jones in that mix as well, because he ended up being GM of the year in the NBA. So once again, black excellence. Shout out James Jones, former player, getting to it and making things happen. And so then that just kind of leads us to Eastern Conference. Nobody, and I mean nobody, had had the Bucks and the Hawks being there in the Eastern Conference Finals there, and so just kind of run what you got about the Eastern Conference there.
It was good. Like I enjoyed watching that conference finals because it was surprisingly evenly matched for the most part until Milwaukee figured out a couple of things. Like it was pretty much evenly matched. But I honestly thought Milwaukee was gonna win it in like 4 and 5. I was thinking they could sweep the Hawks just because they got Giannis, and I don't think nobody on their team is nobody in the world, nobody in the team could stay in front of him as you saw that one game, but he just started running straight to the goal. Because after they lost game one, they knew we got to make some adjustments. Like we got to stop shooting all these threes and getting in the paint. They did that in game two, and then Giannis got hurt in game three. They went 5 or 6. I can't even remember.
They ended up going 6 games. Yeah, they went 6 games because Trae Young got hurt in game. He got hurt in the game. I forgot, but I know he did step on the ref's foot. Trae got hurt in game 4. Yeah, Trae got hurt in game 4. He tried to play in game 6. Giannis got hurt in game 5. That's what happened. Because Trae got hurt.
Trae missed 2 games, didn't it? I think he sat out 2 games and played game.
He missed game 4 and 5. Yeah.
So he got hurt in game 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a home game he got hurt in.
Right, because they was up when he got hurt. Yeah, they was up like 1 point or something like that, I believe. But I think even when Trae was healthy, right? I think even if Trae was healthy, I think Milwaukee would have still found a way to win because somehow they found a way to win that one game with Brook Lopez. Shout out to him! Finally got decided. I'm 7 foot, so I'm gonna be in the lane and I'm gonna dunk. That's the most times I've seen him dunk in the NBA game in
ever
his whole career.
He had
at least 6 dunks. He was in the paint all day. Portis was in the paint. Holiday was penetrating, and they just found a way to win without Giannis. Because like when he plays, I feel like they depend on him too much because he's so good. Like they have that safety net. Like something ain't working, just throw it to the tall person who can run to the goal. But without that, like that made Middleton step up. For Holiday to be more aggressive, which is the best version. Which is the best version of Drew Holiday is a scoring Drew Holiday, not a facilitating one. Right. And Brook Lopez, he had to go inside because Giannis wasn't clogging up the paint. Yeah, so that was a change. So they can go to that now. Hopefully, but they'll still mess around and shoot too many threes. That's what's gonna determine my pick. My prediction for the finals is Milwaukee playing style, but I just think Atlanta, they were just young, and they were just young and not
happy to be here.
Yeah, they was happy to be there. They thought they could win, but they just young, certain situations they was making bad plays, bad decisions, wasn't executing as crisply as they did in the previous series, and I think they really probably just ran into a better, more mature team. Like, because the Bucks, like, they've been waiting, like, been waiting to try to get to the final. They've we didn't have the number 1 seed last year. We didn't got beat. We didn't lost to Toronto. We didn't lost to Philly. We didn't had some bad exits. So they was like, all right, this is our time to correct it. Because if we don't win it this year, we don't get the final this year. That team ain't gonna probably never get to it because you got to go through Brooklyn next year, a healthy Brooklyn. Atlanta gonna be better. Boston, I feel is gonna be better. And
Philly will be back.
Who?
Philly, one way or another. Philly will be
back. So yeah, so they was like, man, they had to get it done. If they want to ring, this is their best chance to get it. And they stepped up in a big way to show that that. I guess that they belonged in the finals. And they caught some breaks, but everybody got breaks this year. So
yeah.
So shout out to them, and I'm excited. I'm ready to see the matchups.
Same. That's really just what it came down to. Really, just that Hawks team, like you said, they're extremely young. They made a lot of incredible plays. It really looks like the whole Atlanta team is just like a highlight reel. Whether if it's how fast they play, whether if it's John Collins catching lobs off the glass, dunking over people, like Trae Young deep threes from the logo. I don't know. The Hawks, they just look really good. It was a good story while it lasted. I think this is definitely something major for them to improve on. They should resign John Collins, as I believe he either has a player option or either his contract just expires either way, they need to bring him back because he's.
They definitely got to bring him back because if they don't, I already know who called.
Who's that?
The team that should have drafted him.
Yeah, Portland.
Oh, you saw? Did you see our Collins having our Collins? He out for next year.
What happened? He got hurt again.
He fractured something. He out for next year too.
God,
I feel so bad for him. It's terrible. I feel bad. I really feel bad for him now. But I'm like, dang, like because I do think he could do good, but man, that like them injuries is hurting him bad. It's making him look real bad.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? You definitely hate to see anybody like continuously get hurt that to a low level because he's not as the player Derrick Rose was. But just seeing people continuously get hurt, it sucks. It definitely sucks. But with the Bucks team though, Giannis getting hurt, it definitely showed like another side of Drew Holiday. It definitely showed another side of Chris Middleton. I still believe that Chris Middleton is the best player on that team, depending on the night. Drew Holiday may be the best player on the team when he wants to be aggressive, because this may be the closest version of New Orleans Drew that we've seen in a while. So, and he definitely had a part in taking those Pelican teams to the playoffs along with AD. But Giannis' free throw struggles, they continue. Giannis, I love the chanting that the crowd is doing, like the countdown that they're doing at the free throw line. It reminds me like wrestling for some reason, like because everybody's just in like full motion with it. But Giannis, he is doubtful. He already had a injury that he was dealing with going into the conference finals. He had like a right calf strain. And then on top of that, he hyperextended the right leg. So it's one of those legs. So it's just once again injuries. You know what I'm saying? Trae Young stepped on the referee's foot, freak accident, freak injury. How many times have we been on the basketball floor and that's never happened? Like we'll step on other players' feet and roll an ankle or something like that, but not a ref. Like that's just wild. So Trae with those injuries, that sucks. But the Hawks will be back. They'll be better one way or another. And the Bucks as well. Just salute to them for finally getting that breakthrough. It's ran into that buzzsaw with the younger Raptors teams, then just never couldn't get past those other Raptor teams too. So salute the Bucks. They'll be back. Well, they look to have a better series. And that just leaves us here with the finals predictions. And so we have Bucks and Suns. The Suns have home court advantage where they have the first two games at home. And of course, if it does go to a game 7 will be on their floor. So what you thinking? How you feeling?
I don't know what the saying is, but I'm picking this. I don't know if it's picking with your head and not your heart, whatever the heck it is, but I'm gonna pick this. I don't know if I want to be right or I don't know if I want to be a fan. But I guess for today, I'm gonna be a fan. I'm picking the Suns in 6. I'm going with the Suns. I'm rolling with the Suns in 6.
Suns in
6. I want to say 7 because I think Milwaukee probably do push them to game 7. But I'm gonna go with the Suns in 6, even though some is telling me Milwaukee go win. But I want Chris Paul to finally win. I think they're good enough to beat. I think they're good enough to beat them 4 times in 7 games if it go that far. And like they played twice in the regular season this year. They was only decided by both games was one game was won like 125, 124. The other game was won like 126, 127. So they played each other real close. Now, downside to that for the Suns, Giannis averaged 40 in those 2 games. So that's the best. Yeah, he had like 40. One game he had 47, the other game he had 33. So he averaged 40. So that's the bad thing. But the good thing is they still pulled it off, even with him going off like that in some of the games. But I mean, they didn't got this. I mean, it's the playoffs. The game slows down, and it's usually the team that executes better. And I don't think nobody executes their offense better than the Suns. I feel like they always at least get the look that they want, and they get quality shots on possessions. And that's what I think Milwaukee gonna fall short at because they will come down and they will shoot a 3 so fast. or they'll just run the shot clock down and shoot a three every time. And I watch it so much. I'm like, bro, the ball never went inside the paint, or never went inside the 3-point line. Now, y'all got Giannis, y'all got Lopez, you got Portis, you got Holiday, who good, you got Middleton, who was a mid-range player. Like, for them to shoot how many threes they shoot, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
And that because that's what got them shooting them threes is what got Atlanta back in that last game. Because Atlanta was coming back because they shot 30 some, because Milwaukee had 60 some points in the paint, but shot 30 some threes. I'm like, they gotta stop doing it.
Yeah.
And once if they shot so they can get better, and they're like, oh, we don't have to shoot a three every time. We can try to get a layup or get a mid range. Like, take a mid range up, but like they execution. That's what's gonna cost them. If they lose, I guarantee it's gonna be because at the end of the day, you're gonna see they shot way too many threes.
Yeah, they ended up getting caught up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really waiting for the Hawks to really make that run like they did, and they made a massive run to get back into that closeout game, which the score doesn't show. The score really doesn't show how that game really went. Like, the Bucks got up, then they just kind of like put it in cruise control. But the Hawks stayed on the gas the entire way.
They got down to 4.
Yeah,
in the 4-4, they got down to 4. It was like I think it was like 106, 102, something like that.
Yeah, when the Bucks were up plus 20. Like,
right.
Come on now. Like, and like you say, they fell into the matrix of shooting all these threes, shooting all these jumpers. The offense stopped, which I think making the finals has saved Coach Bud's job for at least halfway through next season. At least halfway. We'll see how far it really goes, but the finals actually depends on actually how it goes. So I mean, if they get swept,
they get swept, he gone.
Yeah, he's out of there. He's out of there one way or another. Pack it up. But my prediction is, I mean, I got Suns in 7. I'm taking Suns in 7. I still think that I feel like the Suns just overall offense, how they just run their offense, is just an overall better scheme. I think and this is what I do want to ask. Do you let Giannis go off, get his 40, and you lock up the others? Or do you lock up the others? Or do you just kind of like lock Giannis up and then depend on the others? What would you do? If it was me, I'd let Giannis go crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let you go crazy. I got bodies to throw at him. I don't trust him at the free throw line either.
Right.
So I'd let Giannis go crazy, and then I'm going to hold the others in check.
That's what I would do, because I think they others are good enough to beat you. Like, if this was a LeBron Cleveland situation, I would do this. I would stop LeBron and try to make everybody else beat me. Because I'm like, he not gonna beat me. So I'm gonna try to stop him, and then whoever, and if J.R. Smith or George Hill make threes and they win the game, hey, y'all, hey, I'm gonna take that. But with the Bucks, I feel like Holiday and Middleton can do damage if you leaving them open. So I think the best thing to do is let Giannis get his 40, but throw them off their rhythm, because they play better when they got the ball in their hands. So I would I'm like, look, we gonna let Giannis get his 40 or whatever, but all these shooters and these pick and roll, whatever, penetrating, all that, we trying to shut all that down. Yeah, let Giannis get his 35, 40 points and minimize everybody else and get them out of their rhythm of the offense. So yeah, that's what I'm letting Giannis go off.
It's just kind of funny, like how this kind of played out, right? I remember in the beginning of the season, we were talking about how if we were coaching Giannis, we would, use like a lot of baseline action, like a lot of screens and a lot of like backdoor things. Let him use those things and then let him develop his game from that point forward. And now that we're here in July at the finals, their offense still hasn't evolved, like at all.
When he plays, it's gotten worse. It's really just sometimes they just give it to him at the top, and he just try to do a move, run to the goal, Euro step, or run, drive, spin. I'm like, it's so predictable when he try to do this little head of steam move. I'm like, just don't let him Euro step, and you gonna be contest the shot.
It's 3 moves: the Euro spin, head of steam, spin move. That's
That's
it.
it.
Like
That's only do 3 moves, and he gonna finish with the right hand. He's not gonna finish with the left hand.
never finishes with the left. Never,
Never.
never, 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 never. Like so, um, I'm still rolling with the Suns. I still feel like and then also I don't really look at Drew Holiday as just like a point guard. Like I look at him as like a number 2. You know what I'm saying? And I look at Middleton as like a true number 3. They don't really have nobody that just runs their offense. You know what I mean? Unless it is Giannis from the top of the key that just I'm gonna just go full head of steam. And then if I see somebody on the wings, I'm gonna kick it out to one of them. But other than that, no, I don't really, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe in the Bucks offense. It's been, I've been here all season. I don't believe in the Bucks. I'm not gonna believe in the Bucks now. I'm rolling with the Suns. Suns in 7. And I think Chris Paul finally gets that elusive championship that he's been snake bitten by. Injuries here, running into better teams there. You know what I'm saying? So I think Chris Paul finally gets that first championship, and he just finally etches just another just what you could say achievement mark that off of his list. So
right.
Yeah. So anything else on the finals before we close that part out?
If Chris Paul wins this finals, when people look at him, will they rank him in the top 5 like with point guards? Or is he already there? But
top 5 point guards all time, off the top of my head, in no particular order. Magic. Okay. Magic, Steph, Isaiah Thomas, the Isaiah Thomas. Some people would put Stockton, and I guess Chris Paul will go there.
Right, but okay, so but then like, what about like a Jason Kidd or Gary Payton? Like, what they fall in? Like, are they better than?
I think I look at GP, and GP was major. Like GP was major, but I don't think GP does the things Chris Paul does. Like,
okay, I would agree.
So I put Chris Paul there because bro, I've seen it. I've seen Chris Paul turn David West into an all-star. like I've seen Chris Paul turn Tyson Chandler into an all-star. Like everywhere he's gone, the team has gotten better. Last year in the bubble was a perfect example. Like that Thunder team had no business being in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Right.
And yeah, they may have lost to the Rockets there, but that Thunder team had no business being there. So, but yeah, I would put him there at that 5. I would put him there at that 5 spot. I mean, Stockton may be interchangeable. You know what I'm saying? You may be able to put somebody else in Stockton's place. You may be able to put GP in Stockton's place. I mean, but yeah, definitely like my 3 for sure. It would definitely go Magic, Steph, and Isaiah. Those are definitely my 3 there.
Yeah, because
my outside sleeper is Derrick Rose. So.
If he didn't get hurt, he this off pure talent, he would have been like, it ain't no question. Like wherever Westbrook at, he would have been over him. Yeah. So yeah, sure. He was off pure talent. But yeah, because I've been hearing people talking. Like I've heard some wild takes about Chris Paul. Like somebody was like, they was naming up a point guard that better than him. I'm like, they got to like 8 point guards better. I was like,
we're not doing that.
They was almost at 10. I'm like, hold on. I'm like, it ain't. I'm like, I know for sure it ain't 10. Like, I'm like, well, because to me, after Isaiah, it got 2 spots for them. They got the 4 and the 5. So I'm being like, you can put whoever you want in them. I'm like, you can say, I'm always put Jason Kidd in my top 5 just because he was one of my favorite players. And I'm like, ain't no reason the Nets. The only reason the Nets made it to back-to-back finals. He went to the Suns, they got better. He went to the Nets, they got better. He went to the Mavericks, they got better. He went to
what was the last team? Jason Kidd. He won a ship. Yeah, and the Knicks. He was the last team.
He was good. He went to the Knicks. They got to the playoffs for the first time in forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jason Kidd always been my top 5. And then like after that, I'd be like, it's a toss-up between, if you want to say Stockton,
Nash,
Paul, GP, or even Steve Nash. I mean, he's a 2-time MVP. I wouldn't put him up there because I'm like, he couldn't do as much alone as them other people could. So but that last spot it's one of them. But they was named, and I forgot all the names. They got down to some of the names. They actually was talking about Rondo. I was like,
let's not do that. Let's not do that. Like I rock with Rondo. I rock with Rondo. He was one of my favorites coming up, but we not doing that.
Bro, they was like, he got a ring, and I'm like, y'all putting too much emphasis on this ring stuff. I'm like, just because somebody got a ring don't mean that they did something spectacular. Like, Rondo had his little hot time, but Chris Paul been dominant. He was 20 and 10 before 20 and 10 was even like a point guard.
A thing.
Like he was right after like Marbury and all them would score. And he ain't even a scoring point guard, but he was averaging 20 and 10. So yeah, I was just curious because it wasn't too much Chris Paul like
chatter.
Yeah, like because somebody always got to find something negative in the positive. Like he playing great right now. Let him have his, but don't ever try to put Ray John, Rondo, and Chris Paul in the same sentence. They ain't even close.
Nah, not even close. Not even close. And then just one more thing while we're here, before we just completely leave all most recent basketball, I'm just gonna get this PG narrative off real quick. PG deserves all criticism that he gets. He deserves all criticism, and it's okay. Like, it's okay. People can get talked about. Like, it's not just gonna damage their game. Like, even if it does, maybe they should spend less time on social media or watching the talking heads or on ESPN or whatever the case may be. Like, even us on YouTube. It's right. Okay. Like, yes, PG deserves all criticism that he gets. You played a lot of minutes. I get it. I respect it. He hooped hard. And then did he miss those 2 free throws down the stretch that led to the alley-oop? Yes, he did. Did he lay a bomb in the closeout game? Yes, he did. You know what I'm saying? So you deserve criticism whenever you do bad. Like James Harden. He gets cooked every time. He gets cooked every time.
James he averaged 35, 10, and 8, and he still get it when he
still get thrown in the fire. Like, you know what I'm saying? They'll still run the bus over multiple times over James. Right. Like we've seen James Harden at clubs like the night of being eliminated. You know what I'm saying? Like we see James out in traffic like with Lil Baby, like in Lamborghinis, like he's showing up out of shape. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get cooked. PG, you're going to get cooked. It's okay. Like, people still slander LeBron to this day. People still slander Kevin Durant to this day. Like, it's okay. It's cool. People, diss Chuck all the time for not having a championship. Like, it is what it is. And you better believe me, like, if Melo would have been in this time, Melo would have been getting cooked. Yeah, he would have been Paul George. You know what I'm saying? Melo's a great scorer, but sometimes that's just the way it goes. And I just wanted to get that PG narrative off about that because I see everybody's like, man, y'all dissing PG and that's not fair and he doesn't deserve. Stop it. Like, cut it out. You know what I'm saying?
If you play bad, you're going to get called out. I know I'm going to call you out. But if you play bad, you're going to get called out. If you play good, I'm going to praise you. Like, I ain't got no reason. Like, ain't no reason. Nobody picking on you. They just calling like how they see it. Call it like from my perspective, most people just call it like what they looking at. They call it. Now, I do got some people that just want to be outlandish, but for the most part, people just call it what they see. And playoff P, you was playoff poop sometimes. Like you the one who scored 5 points in a playoff, or 9 points, 5 points, whatever it was. You was the one scoring single digits in the playoff game. We ain't do that. That was you. You was out there. So you gonna get blamed when Russ got 45 and you got 8. You gonna get the blame. If y'all lose, you gonna get blamed for it because you ain't hold up your part.
Yeah, you sitting there telling Dame eliminates you on a bomb from like 40 feet, and you talking about something that's a bad shot. No, that's what he does. Like that's just what he do. Like
and speaking of that, the missed free throws. Remember he was clowning Dame when he was in OKC for missing them free throws. Now you missed yours in the playoffs.
Yeah, got to talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
He missed them down the stretch. He missed something earlier in that quarter when it was 70-71. They couldn't score. That's because he had just got fouled. He made one free throw to get him down 1, and then he had the big free throw to tie it. Breaked it. Pretty tip like how I expected. And then Mr. Free throws in the last game. But hey, the karma, she gonna somebody I forgot who said it, but karma, she gonna spin that block.
Every time. It
She gonna
goes
spin the block.
spin the block with the windows down. Like you better believe that. You know what I'm
Windows
saying?
down, blicky out.
Yeah.
She gonna spin it.
Yeah. So I mean, I just want to like get that off, and please, like people gotta let that whole PG narrative that people are picking on him go. Like it's just the day and the era that we're in. Everybody, NBA Twitter is a family. NBA Twitter is going to let you know how they feel. Some of them are trolls. Some of them are letting you know what's really real. And some of them are just, just tweeting through the game, tweeting through it. Got to see it through, my boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. So, yeah, man, PG, hopefully he comes back next year and improves as a better player overall. And because I would love to see PG just, continue to elevate his game. But don't be mad whenever criticism comes to your front door. You're a better player than what you've been showing. Act like it, play like it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna leave that there. And so that kind of finishes up the finals. Recent basketball here. We got a little bit of other news. Do you want to get into this? Do you want to get into this Scotty tripping? Do you want to get into this? I
mean, we can talk about it a little bit.
You got it. I'm gonna let you take the floor on that one.
I mean, Scotty been going through some personal stuff. His son died, I think, last month or a couple weeks ago, something like that. So I know he dealing with all that. But he got a book coming out, so he kind of wants right. So and alcohol. So he kind of wants to tell his side of the story because we saw how the Jordan documentary pretty much painted him out as like he was like Jordan kind of put him out as like he was selfish because he didn't want to play when he was getting paid like chump change compared to some of the other players. Yep. And how he acted or whatever, they was kind of, he put Scotty down a little bit. So Scotty just like he needs to tell his side of the story, like what really went down, how he felt stuff was going down, because he was like, number one, he called Phil Jackson out for drawing that play up for Kukoc because he was like he honestly feels like Phil Jackson was a racist. Now I was at face when I first heard it, I was like, okay, he might be wrong. Oh, well, not wrong, but I'm like, I got to check into this. Then you see the articles that Phil has wrote and like the excerpts he wrote in some of his books, and you read them, you're like, Phil, that is racist language saying black people got short attention span because they listen to rap music. They need to dress a certain way because it's getting a little too thuggery or thuggish or whatever. White people are more inclined to play team ball because that's how they were raised. Black people wanted to be the superstar because they wanted to be the man on the
from the block court, to the league
on the block. Yeah, so yeah, when he said that, and they was questioning about him, he was like, "I was in the locker room, and when they asked him, he said, "You think he racist?" He said, "Yeah," he flat out. And he was like, he did that. He put Kobe on blast on one of his books, then went back to coaching. Like, what type of man do that? So he went in on that, and then he also went in on Mike because I remember that they asked him about that play for Steve Kerr, and Scott was like, "Man, that was all for show. That was planned out." He was like, "Because if you look at it, the camera that Jordan was talking to, he said that camera is the Michael Jordan camera, pretty much. That camera was one of the ESPN cameras, the one where he told Kerr, 'Hey, you open, I'm gonna hit you.'"
Be ready.
But Scotty was like, that play was for Michael Jordan. That play was not for no dang. He did, because that's what they was trying to compare the play to. Because they asked him, he said, "Didn't he drop a play for Steve Kerr?" Scotty was like, "No, he dropped a play for Michael Jordan." Michael Jordan just wanted to control the narrative because Michael needed something for his film he was obviously making during the time. So he told Steve Kerr, "Hey, they double, I'm gonna pass you." But if he was like, if John Stockton didn't come double, Michael Jordan gonna shoot the shot. So we would have never heard that clip of Michael Jordan. Oh, he knew they was gonna double, and it just made the story. It made the story better. That's what pretty much Scotty was saying. He was like, that was the story. Yeah. So Phil ain't. So don't think Phil was giving everybody special treatment, but he was like, when Michael left, I was the man. You called me the best player all around playing basketball. Why the heck would not shoot the last second shot? So yeah, he went in on that. He went in on I don't even remember what he said about KD or Charles.
But
He pretty much called he pretty much called Michael Jordan selfish because he was like he left and went play baseball while we trying to win championship. And he just up and I want to leave because I feel like I can go play baseball. Which I with Scotty, I ain't gonna lie, I kind of agree because he really did just leave y'all and send him out go do something else. So yeah, but everybody know Mike was selfish, but that shouldn't be news to everybody.
right, that shouldn't be news to anybody that Mike is selfish. Plus, at the same time, too,
right.
we can't speak to what Mike was going through when what happened with his pops happened with his pops. You know what I'm saying? Like that happened, and you never know when Mike actually dealt with that. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
that's one. What he said about KD was he said that how KD played. Let me just kind of get it. I'm paraphrasing, but what he was saying is Kevin Durant didn't play team basketball against the Bucks when he said LeBron would have found a way to beat the Bucks instead of Kevin Durant going one-on-one pretty much in the elimination game. Which I mean, James Harden is out there on one leg.
Right.
Joe Harris just missed a three that would have put them up. You have nobody else on the floor that can really score. So I mean, why not give it to the most efficient player maybe ever? Right. like you know what I'm saying? Trust me, I'll roll with the dude that's 7 foot that shoot threes and handle the rock like he a guard. You know what I'm saying? I'll roll with him. Like I'll go down with the building burning with him. I'm not tripping. Right. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't like that I don't like he did that because but he comparing Kevin Durant and LeBron, but a younger LeBron James or LeBron James at the same age was a better overall basketball player than Kevin Durant. Plain and simple. That's why he probably would have found a way to win because he was better overall. He was a better basketball player. Like that ain't like
that's not news.
Scotty. like Scotty, that shouldn't be something that you diminish him for. Like, yeah, LeBron probably would have found a way to win because he's a better player. If Jordan was in your situation when you was gone, if you was gone and Jordan was there that 1 year by himself, and when they lost to whoever in the playoffs, like you could have said the same thing, like, "Oh, Jordan would have found a way to win," and you probably would have been right. So, because he was a better player than Scotty. So I don't know what Scotty was trying. I don't know what point he was trying to make. I don't know why he trying to make it like it was some like this was something disrespectful to Kevin. Like that's a knock on Kevin Durant that he couldn't beat the team by himself. Like. Right. That's hard to do. It ain't many people that can really do that.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Then you playing against 3 all-stars. You know what I'm saying? And then you down to pretty much the only all-star on the floor. I can't count James Harden being out there on one leg, bro. Like hamstrings and groins and like ankles, like feet, ankles, groins, hamstrings, knees, like pretty much hips and below. If you have an injury there, it's hard for you to even be up.
This how bad it was on that team. They needed Joe Harris to score at least 20 points. They needed Joe Harris to score 20 points. Not they wanted or it would have been nice. No. They needed him to score 20 points to have a chance. They needed Blake Griffin to be scoring at least 15 to 18. Yeah. That's how if you asking Joe Harris and Blake Griffin to combine for 40 points, now, like, you know your team is y'all in disarray.
You destined to lose. Because at this moment.
Right, because if Steve Nash go up to Joe Harris, hey, I need 20 from you tonight. That ain't them words you probably he ain't never thought he was gonna hear in his life.
Right. 20 points at a closeout game. Like
20 points in any game. If I need 20 from you, ain't no way in the world Joe Harris about to give you 20 points. Right. So yeah, I mean it was a tall task. So yeah, man, Scotty, he been on the rock. But he trying to get that book. A little bit more publicity. Can't blame him. Everybody, got to get their bag somehow.
Yeah, I salute marketing, but not this kind of marketing. So I mean, Scotty, somebody will buy your book. Somebody will buy your alcohol. It won't be me, but somebody will buy it. And I'm gonna leave that there. Right. So now that we have and so July 1st, the official Team USA basketball roster was submitted. And so The team is going to be coached by Greg Popovich, assistant coach Steve Kerr, Lloyd Pierce, formerly of the Hawks, my guy Jay Wright. The overall Team USA Olympic roster, the roster it is the players. It's Bam from Miami, Bradley Beal from the Washington Wizards, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Jeremy Grant, Draymond Green, Drew Holiday, Zach LaVine, Dame Dollar, Kevin Love, Chris Middleton, and Jason Tatum. That is the final group of 12 that's going to be holding down the men's Team USA basketball. And it's just going to be interesting to see how those three finals players transition from NBA basketball over into the international basketball, as the rules are just a little bit different. But just to see how they transition, and I wonder if they even have to like quarantine or whatnot before they actually go overseas. So that's going to be something interesting just to kind of look forward to. Do you have any thoughts there on the 12-man roster?
Only thing that would concern me is the lack of size, but I think with all the scoring we got, I'm pretty sure that'll make up for it. Because I mean, that's all people really do now, shoot threes anyway. So yeah, I ain't too much worried about it. Just wish we had some better American big man in the NBA.
Yeah. We're definitely moving into this era of basketball where it's everybody's either like 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" in some cases. Then you have like your freak athletes like Kevin Durant and Anthony Davis that do extraordinary things for being 7 foot. So yeah, so then that is Team USA. And last but not least, we have the NCAA finally did something right by their student athletes by passing the NIL bill, which stands for name, image, and likeness, where these athletes, they can profit off of their name, image, and likeness, as if the NCAA hasn't been doing this for decades, but they finally did something right. So what are your thoughts there on the NIL ruling?
All right. First of all, I got to give a quick shout out to LeVar Ball, because before any of this was brought up, before the change was made, he brought up, he came in with his own brand pretty much for his kid and stuff like that, caused a whole bunch of commotion and controversy. But as we can see, 5 years later, once he brought it up, like everybody got on board with what he was saying in the first place. So kudos to him. One of the great black fathers we have in America. Yeah, it's gonna be good for some of the players. You can make money off yourself, like, because they shouldn't be fair that that a regular student and a student athlete has like certain different rules about how they can make money outside of their schooling situation. So yeah, I think it was just good for them to even it out, and so they not being really as exploited as they once were, and this gives people a chance to make. I mean, you get to make money off yourself, and so it's gonna help people learn how to manage money, control their own business, build their own brands, help and stuff like that. And also, I think it's gonna help mainly college basketball for the most part, because I think a lot of those players might stay an extra year as opposed to leaving if they get some of them getting some type of money from somewhere. Because I mean, it's only 60 people get drafted a year out of all the college basketball players, so that's a very small minority. So some of the people who's on the verge of not getting drafted, I'm like, you know what? Let me just stay for another year. I'm getting a couple of dollars from these sponsors or whatever, and it's gonna help the quality of the game for the most part. Basketball wise, and for football, I mean, more money, bigger stadiums, more eyes on the game.
Yeah,
It's gonna have its that's the positive, but it's gonna have its negative. Some of the players might get jealous that players are making more than that. Some players are making more than them, or they're not getting those calls from certain companies, whatever. But it could also be a blessing for them, because say you go to Ohio State, like they go to Ohio State, and they're not getting the offers that they thought they would get, as opposed to say there's somebody in a school like Tulsa maybe or something like that. They're like, hey, we'll give you come here, play here, and you'll have a deal with this fast food place or whatever, blah blah blah. Maybe they choose to go to Tulsa and play football. So something like that, could happen, and it'll help smaller schools. smaller schools can probably get some players that they never thought of getting. So and HBCUs as well. It might help them out too as far as recruiting. So I think it's gonna be a good tool for recruiting for some of these smaller schools that didn't kind of have a chance against some of the powerhouses.
Totally agreed. And I definitely want to salute. I definitely echo that. Shout out to LeVar Ball for definitely pushing the issue forward, and just putting this at everybody's feet. And then the NCAA did what's right by their. Pardon me. NCAA did right by their athletes and those athletes' families. And I want to use the college football team I root for, which is University of Miami. They're at the forefront of pushing this forward, where the quarterback, Mr. King, he signed a podcast deal. He has a Twitch deal, and even like a couple of the DBs, they have Twitch deals. Oklahoma's quarterback, Spencer Rattler, he has one of the dopest logos that's been circulating, and he even signed a deal with Raising Cane's, which you would think an LSU athlete would have signed a deal with Cane's first, but
we did. Stingley and Brendan did, but I don't know. But he got the most press for it.
Yeah, exactly, which is wild. But shout out to all those schools that's definitely making this happen for those players, and those companies that are reaching out to those players as well, not just being partners with the school, but being partners with the players as well, and which that could actually tie those players into those communities for who knows for a lot longer. Salute those schools. In basketball, football, it may definitely just affect the depth charts of how everything looks. To your example there of Ohio State and Tulsa, instead of a kid signing with University of Ohio State, where he may not see the field sometime soon, he may accept a deal with Michigan State, where he has a chance to get on the field sooner, and he has a better sponsor deal. So yeah, this definitely may shift the balance of power there, and I think we'll end up seeing the changes there within, I would say, about 4 or 5 years here coming up. So yes, a golf clap for the NCAA for doing something right by these kids, and so let that be that. And so if we have anything else before we go ahead and wrap up.
We didn't talk about Devin Booker, so the NBA Finals might just hinge on the NBA Finals winner might hinge on his performance. He plays well. I think he's going to be the main difference in who wins the series. If he can win his matchup and dominate his matchup against Middleton.
Yeah, totally agree. Devin Booker, he go ahead and all eyes are on Book. He needs to go out and especially with Giannis being at this moment, Giannis is doubtful for game 1. So even if Giannis is out, he definitely needs to go out and handle his business, like you say, dominate his matchup. And then one last thing that I do have on the Suns. Yes, they won the Western Conference Finals. Salute. They did what they had to do. I respect it. But y'all celebrated like y'all won the NBA championship. There's one more trophy y'all still got to go get. And, enjoy it for the night. Enjoy it for maybe the next day. But it's enough of that happy-go-lucky. I'm happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? Let's finish strong. You know what I'm saying? Let's do the right thing, man. Let's not do all that celebrating and then end up, falling flat. Now Chris Paul is crying for other reasons. So hopefully not. So yeah, man. This has been the episode number 20 of the Perspective Podcast. This is the conference review and NBA Finals preview. And so I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you share it with a friend, family member, whoever, as long as you share it. And so until next time, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. Peace.
Proceed to presidentially blow up and switching lanes and sipping drink.